the reliability part is so huge.
Yeah. And to be honest, because when I have something I need to do or get done or files come in, it's all I can think about. Like it's kind of a gift and a curse, because the curse is like, I can't sometimes just enjoy. It doesn't need to get done now. It can get done later. But because I have it, the files came in the text, like, I need to get that done immediately. To be honest, now that I think of it, I've never had someone be like, yo, you told us the mix was going to come on Monday and it's Wednesday and you haven't sent them. I've never dealt with that. I'll be like, someone will give you a mix Monday. I'll tell them, hey, I can start it possibly tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll have it to you for sure by Thursday. If I get a chance that Monday night, and I open and I'm just like, something happened and I'm free, I'll knock it out then and deliver Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not, I don't let the open gaps just be unfilled, especially when it's like, there's nothing else to do anyways. You know what I mean? It's like, might as well knock it out. Then you never know, something else might pop up. And that happens all the time, where I told this guy that I would deliver Thursday, but I knocked it out early. And Wednesday I got another mix that I had to deliver Thursday. And that kind of worked out because I took care of the first mix when I initially,
right.
You know what I mean? So that type of stuff happens all the time. And I'm seeing it. Wow, if I was just like, oh, I said I was going to mix it Tuesday, I'll just do it then, I'll chill tonight. Stuff will start to pile up. So in my head, I just need to get it done and get out of the way.
Well, this industry, it's very interesting you say that. This industry is a whole lot of last minute, oh my God, I need this tomorrow. So if you're in the position, if you're trying to be a music professional and you're like, okay, cool, I have till Thursday to do this and it's Monday, I'm just going to chill out. Like, it just never works out well. And it sounds like you have basically what I think everybody wishes they had in a lot of ways, which is the opposite of procrastination. If you have a task in front of you,
everything else though.
What do you mean everything else? Like everything else in life?
Like, okay, for example, I just got the Tesla, so I got rid of the other car, right? I got a thing from the DMV saying that I had to redo my things for the other car. And so I don't have the car anymore. So my guy's like, oh, just write on the back that you don't own the car anymore. That shit came like a week and a half ago, and I still haven't sent it. And I'm like, if I don't send it, like that type of stuff, I'll procrastinate all day. It's the stuff that, okay, I think what happened was coming up, especially under Juicy J, there was a lot of aggressive, just, I don't even know to say, it's not like real PTSD, but in a way where it's like, I got really a lot of anxiety when I know the pressure was on, because I would get cussed out all the time. Juicy would throw shit at me, like it was like that. So because of that, I think I became, it made this like anxiousness come when I have something. I'm like, I have to get it done. Yeah. I think coming from that, from being, I don't want to say the word emotionally abused, but like just so like,
let's say chaotic.
It's so chaotic that it becomes a thing. Like now it's like like as soon as files come in, it's like anxiety. Something else comes in, I don't really care. I'll procrastinate and put it off. And my reason for putting it off is, well, I have to do this, right? Like, why haven't you done the DMV? I've been fucking mixing every day, you know? So it's not like I'm just sitting on the couch like, I don't want to do it right now. Like, I fill it with other times and then I don't do other shit. So
it may be that the answer is, if you want to be great at something, you just start doing it as soon and as much as possible all the time. And wherever that comes from.
In the beginning, it has to be something that you like literally live in.
Yeah.
I don't even know how else to explain it, because at the time that I'm doing it, I'm not going, I'm living in it because I need to be really good at it. It's all I knew and all I could do every day. And, you know what I'm saying? All day, wake up, obviously need to make money. So it's just like engineering sessions. Say I'll do a session for free. Let me get in the room.
Yeah.
Like, you have to consume yourself with it. And then there becomes a point where you kind of, you stop doing that. Like for me, it was with Chris. Like once I got with Chris and things started to like really go good for me, I started to allow time for other things, because I couldn't continue to live completely consumed for too long, because you start to go crazy. I mean, you're in that room, you're in that shitty little studio in your bedroom, wherever it is, locked in there every day with your homies. Y'all are scrounging change together to get food, to buy weed, whatever it is. Like, there has to come a point.
The important things,
the weed and the food.
The staples.
You need to be able to like separate those things. And that's what I've been able to do, is like have a life along with it, because if not, I don't feel inspired. Like if I had to continue doing that, the only reason why I would when you're coming up and you're consuming yourself in that, the only reason why you're doing that is because you know that you need to also make money to do it, right? So like, that was the big thing. Now it's like, I just want to keep doing good things and working on big music. The money's just going to come. I'm no longer worried about, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's kind of hard, because when you look back at it, you weren't doing anything with a plan back then. Like, it was just like you wake up and hopefully there was a crazy opportunity that day. Someone called you about a session that the engineer didn't show up. Like, it was just that you were waiting on this piece to fall in your lap. You know what I mean? And eventually it happens. You do it enough, it'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to like give people advice to say you need to be a total crazy person and completely committed for like 5 years of your life or whatever the number is, but like years, because it's not something that is in the long run healthy, but it does seem to be something that all of us who do this professionally, whether it's writers and producers, whether it's engineers, whatever it is, I think all of us have had a significant amount of time in our lives where it was just all encompassing. And it doesn't necessarily even mean, like you said, it doesn't even mean you're working on the highest level records. You're just working nonstop. It's about getting the mindset the right way.
Yeah, it's and you change so much along the path, you know, like there's stuff that I would do back then that I would never do today. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I had to do those things, and you got to do, and like, it's funny you say that, because when you tell, like, people ask you like, oh, I want to be in music, and they're maybe, 20 years old, and you're like, well, it's going to be at least 6 to 7 years of you doing bullshit. Yeah. You might catch something early, and that can happen, but don't count on it. You know what I mean? Because it's very rare that you catch one 2 years in and you're just booming. You know what I mean? It probably happens more on the production side, I would say. Like, a producer can get the beat, but as an engineer, it's very locked in. Like, if you can't keep up with the artist, which takes years to master, being able to have the confidence in the room to be able to do that. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, absolutely, man. And the truth is, like, I remember I think I was 19 when I had a band that I produced and was sort of signed to Capitol Records. And I had another band get signed. They were like high school rock bands that I produced hip hop when I was growing up, and I was in rock bands as well. And the rock bands started getting attention. And all of a sudden it was like, there's a possibility that if things had fallen in a certain way, I could have had a huge hit when I was 19 or 20. And I don't know if that actually would have been good for me, because I really didn't know how to be a professional yet.
100%. That could have actually, getting in the room too soon, which is sort of what you're saying there, is like being thrown in. Like, I would have never wanted to be thrown in with Chris 3 years into my career. Yeah. Because I would have never worked with Chris again. Yeah. Because I would have been horrible. He would have been cussing me the fuck out, and I would have deaded myself from ever working with this man again in the future. You know what I'm saying? And that can happen. Like, if you're just thrown into the room too early, that's why people are so sometimes in a rush to do this. And it's not a rush. It's not a race. It's a marathon,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that great phrase, which was, somebody invented before, this baseball coach of mine when I was 15, but I've said it before on these streams, which is, luck is the point at which preparation and opportunity meet. And it takes a long time to be prepared to take the big opportunities that come to you. Because it turns out, if you're making music for years and you're working really hard and you're focused on it and you're making records with a lot of different people, you're going to get all the opportunities, and most of them you're not going to be ready for. And that's okay, because what it means is that it weeds out the people who are just kind of casually into it. I get the same question all the time. How do I get into music? And I say, do you have a laptop? And they go, yeah. And I go, start making music tonight and then just do it for a couple of decades. Like, that's
exactly.
It's obviously way more complicated than that, but it's also that simple, which is you have the ability to do it. So just start doing it and figure out how to love it. Figure out the parts of if you can love the process, if you can wake up in the morning and feel crazy and you need to get a mix done and you feed off that, that's how you become successful at this shit.
For sure. And fucking another thing too is when you're coming up and you're younger, it's a lot easier to sacrifice those years for what you have coming. Once you reach, 35, 40 years old, it's hard to now say, okay, I want to do music, but I have to, and I have a job, may have a family, but to do this, you got to be on here. I mean, I was on Pro Tools I've been on Pro Tools for the past 13 years. It's like solid.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I know the feeling.
So,
yeah.
to be able to do this at the capacity and really get on, you'd have to not have a job. This would have to be your job. And when you're coming up, you don't really, like, my mom paid my phone bill. Like, I had just a car. So I just had to come up with like $550 a month. That's all I had to come up with, which is not a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I could come up with that coming up. And I just sleep wherever. My mom's house, I'd go if I didn't have any homies that I could sleep there. I'd sleep at the studio. When I was in New York, I slept at the studio. It's like, those are the only years for me that I would have given for that, because I didn't really care. I didn't really have any sort of responsibilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And so somebody, I talked with John a couple of weeks ago. We did a whole episode about assistance, which maybe we could chat a little bit about that too. Somebody was asking in the Discord after the assistance episode. They said, "Do you guys look at age when you're hiring assistants?" And I said, I don't necessarily look at age, but what age means is, like you said, if you're 20 and you don't know what you're doing with your life and you're just obsessed with music and you don't really have other responsibilities, oftentimes that's a better person to have working, because you know that you can go to the edge with it. Just like when I was 20, when you were 20, the amount of hours you put in. And so if somebody's 30 or 35 or 40 or whatever, it's certainly rarer for those people to be able to commit the kind of time that you need to do what we're talking about. And by the way, it's a beautiful thing for someone who's 35 or 40 or even 20 to just make records however they want, to just make it casually, make it in your own time. That's a beautiful thing. And I would rather people do that than like sacrifice the feeding their children, or like, it's like, if you have a family and you're doing these other things, there's all kinds of other routes to make music. But to do the sort of thing that we're doing really does take a level of sacrifice and insanity, I think.
Totally. So I wouldn't have been able to do it with having kids and stuff like that, because there would be no food on the table some nights. Yeah. That's just what it would be for me, And to be honest, I wouldn't not hire someone because of age. I would honestly just see them as someone who has more wisdom than me, maybe. Like, but, and you know what I mean? Like, and is going to be more professional. Yeah. Because a lot of these kids, it's hard to hire these kids sometimes because they're not professional. You know what I mean? Like, and Instagram and social media is kind of fuck people up, because I tend to see like people that reach out to me to like want to assist me or intern for me. I look at their Instagram and it's like smoking weed, taking pictures everywhere, always Instagramming absolutely every moment of their life. It's like, I can't have that around me. Like, I don't even post that much. The stuff I post about is like if it's a credit or this is coming out or whatever, but I can't have someone having a video camera or anything around anything that I'm doing, just because
that's very
it's going to put my shit in jeopardy, Even just taking a picture inside of the room, there's Post-its with fucking song names on them and artists and stuff like that. Like, that stuff has to remain very undercover, you know what I mean? So like,
I saw that.
I look for someone who's very professional, who's not like a socialite type of person to be my assistant, because I can't have any of that. I'm not even like, I don't go around like, hey, we're in the studio today, I don't do that shit. Like, you'll never see that type of stuff on my Instagram.
Leave that to the artists and
leave it to the artists. If they want to leak the song and film with the song, that's them. They're the artists. Or the producer. Let the producer fight with the artist. If the artist has a problem with it, let them do it. But sometimes people get too comfortable. They see this person doing it. They see that person doing it. Oh, it's cool.